Gen 7 time. It's time for Gen 7. I'm not redoing the forms I already did, unfortunately, but I will mix them up just to mess people who have OCD up a little bit. I think this is the perfect order for the people who have OCD. I think you'll appreciate this a lot. You don't know where you put Alolan Golem? Yeah, I have no idea. Like, the top 3 tier is missing, so I just don't think I can rate Alolan Golem. Just genuinely don't. Rowlet is an S tier design. I was a Rowlet stan from day one. I thought this thing was amazing. It is so pretty. It's a goofy little guy. I love it when we have dual typing starters. It's just, can you make new tiers in this? You can, but when there's only 70 some odd Pokemon, you don't really need that many tiers. Dartrix is D tier. Dartrix is not B tier. It is so ugly. Dartrix is like, this made me question everything. In fact, when all of the Gen 7 middle stages were revealed, everyone hated them at launch. Like, all 3 of them were hated so much. Now, people have turned around on Torracat, but let's be real, these were terrible. People hated them when they were initially revealed. That's a little history of revisionism that's happened lately. Anyway, Decidueye is also an S tier design. Decidueye is amazing. I love Decidueye. And yes, I mispronounced it to see if anyone would react. But I don't really have much to say. It's super cool. The Hisuian variant is not here. I'll have to do that in the Hisui list, but whatever. Litten. It's a cat. It's a fine design. People hated Litten on its initial release just because it was a basic black cat. Everyone hated it for that. But now that Incineroar is mega popular, people love Litten now. So I'm gonna be real. I didn't mind Litten all that much, but it's fine. It's cool. Torracat is S tier though. Bottom of S tier right now. But it's a cool Pokemon. I hated this thing when it was initially revealed as well. I'm not gonna pretend like I was not part of that hate train, but it's turned on me. It's a lot more fun to use in game, to be frank. How broken an Incineroar is in competitive. Yeah, about that to be. Incineroar is kind of like whatever. Keep in mind, I play competitive singles for the most part, and Incineroar is not good there. Go north of Mauville. Incineroar is not good in competitive singles. It is literally just a VGC thing where it's good. I think it's RU currently in Gen 8. Sorry, in Gen 9, and it's not too fantastic there. Because it turns out, like, Intimidate's not as useful if you're only hitting one Pokemon. Now, I understand that if this was based on competitive, it'd be at the top of S, but... Well, based on competitive doubles, it'd be at the top of S. But I'm gonna be real, Incineroar's kind of lame. I think it's my least favorite of the fully evolved starters design-wise, and it's just kind of like whatever. Popplio. A tier. Very pretty. Actually, there will be, tomorrow's short is about Mega Incineroar Theory Craft. I already have it made and it's already uploaded. So, like, it's coming out tomorrow. Okay, no. Okay, just literally go outside in front of the cave, Porygon. But don't enter the cave. Go to the outside of that cave. From there, go right and up. It'll literally be within a few steps of there. Why do people hate Popplio for a long time? It wasn't that people hated Popplio. It was more so that people hated Brionne. People don't like it when Pokemon tend to be very feminine. I wonder why. Probably because they're misogynists. But a lot of people just hated Brionne and they hated Primarina. Because they don't like it when one starter looks like a specific gender, especially if it's a woman, because there's a lot of misogynists in this community. I'm gonna be real. People don't like Brionne. I think it's fine, but people just use women as an excuse to hate some of the Pokemon. I'm gonna be real. Like, people complain about Pokemon looking too human like Brionne. They complain about Florges. They complain about, Delphox. Those same people don't complain about Incineroar, though. Or Machamp, or any other masculine-looking Pokemon. It's so weird. Anyway, yeah, I do think Brionne's ugly, though. Primarina's S tier, though. I am not a Brionne fan. Actually, hot take, I'm actually gonna drop him to D tier. I don't like Brionne. It's ugly. Primarina's goated, though. I know the irony of me saying, like, all this stuff about people hating Brionne, and then me also putting it in D tier, but I swear to God, I'm not bad. I'm not a bad person. I just put a big target on my back. I just look so stupid now. Either way, Brionne's cool. Primarina's cool. Pikipek is S tier as well. It's such a dope design. I love it so much. Trumbeak is the bottom of D tier. In fact, if we still had the F tier, it would be at the bottom of F tier. I despise Trumbeak. One of my least favorite. Actually, it's probably my least favorite Pokemon of all time. It's ugly. How do you go from Picky Peck to Trumbeak? I don't know what they did. Why does its beak work like lips? Like, it can move its beak like a trumpet. It's so ugly. Yo, Toucannon is the bisexual flag. Absolutely true. Because Gardevoir is nostalgia. People like they make an exception for Gardevoir because they're weirdos. And by that, I think you know what I mean when I say that, though, right? Either way, Gardevoir is cool. Let me be real. I like Gardevoir because it has a cool design, not because of the weirdo stuff. Toucannon's okay. I don't really have a big opinion on Toucannon. It does not match the hype of Picky Peck. Picky Peck reminded me so much of Starly, and I was so happy to see something like this when Gen 7 was revealed. And then these abominations happened. Yungoos is like, it's a funny little mongoose guy. It's whatever. Gumshoes is D tier, and I think we all know why. You already would have lost a Maze Growfile. That battle's a hard battle. It's considered one of the hardest ones. We're so close to the best bug type. Grubbin's actually very interesting for a regional bug. So I'm going to raise it up to B for that. Because, like, most of them are just, like, basic caterpillars and insects. This thing is actually, like, has horns and such. Charger Bug, very cool. I like Charger Bug a lot. You're outside the fire cave. Go right and then up. You'll see a gondola. There'll be a hiker van, I'm pretty sure, even. Vikavolt is an overrated Pokemon. It's kind of whatever, to be honest. It's slower than Grubbin. Yeah, it's a whole point slower, isn't it? Like, isn't it exactly like 1 point slower? For whatever reason, Game Freak decided the Alola region did not deserve to have a speed stat, and I don't know why. Like, they saw all these Pokemon and said, yo, base 70 across the board. Incineroar is also slower than Torracat, fun fact. I'm pretty sure, I think Torracat's base 80 and then Incineroar is base 70. You're on the cable car. All right, you don't need my help anymore, Porygon. You've got it from here. All right, Crabrawler. I like Crabrawler a lot. It's a funny design. It punches. It's just a punchy little crab guy. And then Crabominable exists. I like Crabominable more than Dartrix. First of all, in the original Sun and Moon, you could not evolve this thing until the very end. Because you have to evolve it on Ice Mountain that I don't remember the name of. But you literally couldn't do that until right before the Elite Four. So if you pick Crabrawler and put it on your team, you could not evolve it for the longest time. Crabrawler over Vikavolt? Yes. They fixed this in Ultra Sun and Moon. However, that's a year too late in my opinion. Oricorio Pom-Pom? A tier. It's a very funny design. Hula Hula form? Or a Plow Plow form? Not that great. Sensu is a very overrated Pokemon. Baile goes on top. That's how I'm gonna rate all the 4 Oricorios. Sensu is like the most overrated, like, Oricorio form of all time. It's just Thing Japan all over again, to be honest. IMO. Baile is such a way cooler dancing style in both real life and in the Pokemon world. What is this, Cutie Fly? Cutie Fly is kind of like, whatever. What do I have to watch? Just walk around, Porygon. You'll figure it out. Trust me. Cutie Fly is kind of like whatever. I think it's too small to do anything special, if we're being frank. Ribombee is a very pretty design. I am a big fan of how Ribombee looks. I gotta put it higher. It's not as good as Baile, but Ribombee is also very goated. Big fan of Ribombee and its design. It has also an amazing shiny with the red scarf. I love it so much. Your first Pokemon game where you had 3 bug types on your team? Well, one was Vikavolt. A Rockwoodid would also be dope. Rockruff is S tier. I love Rockruff. It's such a pretty Pokemon. It's so cute. It's one of my favorites of all time. I would love a Rockruff plush. I basically already have one, though. Lycanroc is a downgrade, but it's not a big one. At least Lycanroc midday. It keeps the same color scheme and general idea of what the original Rockruff had. Plus, it looks like one of my dogs, and I'm a big fan of that. Lycanroc Midnight is a bit ugly. I'm gonna be real. It's not as cool. It's just edgy for the sake of being edgy. It's big lame. I'm gonna be real. Actually, no. I like Incineroar more. I can't lie to myself. And then Lycanroc Dusk is just it's a merge between the two. That's what it is. But I don't like it. It just uses the midday model and just pastes over it. It's so dumb. I don't like it. This is lazy in my opinion. We should have had a Dawn form to contradict it too. But at the end of the day, the line peaked with Rockruff. Wishy-Washy is goated. Wishy-Washy's sick. It's such a cool Pokemon. I wish this thing was actually like more available in games because I would love to use it. Also, one of the coolest totem battles, but it does get overshadowed by the totem battle in Ultra Sun and Moon. That was actually a really cool twist in Usum. Seems a bit much. 3 was a bit much. We didn't need a Dawn form. Why is this the only Pokemon that got like a Dawn/Dusk form? Like, we probably should have gotten a legendary like that. That would have been interesting. Like, instead of having Necrozma, we could have just had like a third Solgaleo Lunala type of variant. Marini? I think Marini's ugly. I think it's dumb. Also, it becomes the horrifying Pokemon that is Toxapex. Oh god, the king of stall. Ever since Gen 7, this thing became the stall monster. It never dies, it spreads toxic, and it just sits there and it looks stupid. It's got a nice design, but dear lord, do I hate ever having to fight this thing. It's so dumb. Although, I've been using it a good amount in UU lately, and running it with Infestation Toxic is hilarious. Oh, and what, Chilling Water? So they can't even hurt you? Uh-oh, stream lag. No. I think I'm fine, though. Spin on that one butterfly, I forgot. I think Mudspray is ugly. I don't like it. Mudsdale is so much better, though. It's a lot better. A whole tier better, to be frank. I like the horse. It's a funny horse. Stamina's a really cool ability. I just want more Pokemon to like it. Dewpider. I don't like Dewpider that much. I love the concept. Luigi, this isn't Wii. Oh, no. Anyway, Araquanid is amazing. One of the best Pokemon ever. I just wish it had a higher something. Higher speed would be very cool, but I can understand this thing being slow for being real. If it had higher attack, that would be so beautiful as well, because that way the Choice Banded Liquidations would hit so hard. It's amazing. It's one of the best designed Pokemon. I think Fomantis sucks. I hate it. It's so weak. It's not really a fun or interesting design. I think this is dumb, to be honest. Lurantis is better, but I also don't think it's that cool. It's just kind of lame. I don't really have a deep story to say about Lurantis. It's just dumb. Morlul is a very good design. I think it is such a good designed Pokemon. It's so pretty, and then it's a shame that it becomes Shinotic. Shinotic is so dumb, dude. It's such a disappointment coming from Morlul. I just wanted to see a bunch of more mushrooms growing out of this guy, and then it became one big mushroom, and it's so stupid looking. Oh, I mean, Fairy Grass is a cool typing. We finally got one, but at the same time, it's like, why is this thing so stupid? Also, Strength Sap is a stupid move. I hate it. Salazzle is cool, but hunting for a female Salazzle sucks, because I tried using one on my first team, but it was a male. I didn't know the males didn't evolve, and it was a big sad. Salazzle is so cool, but why is it so weak? Also, did you know this thing gets Dragon Dance? Why does Salazzle get Dragon Dance? I don't care if there's a lore reason. It shouldn't get it. Or give it make it a real dragon. Drop the fire typing, make it a poison dragon. I don't really care. I just want to see this thing be good and stronger and not just be a running Focus Sash or leftovers with Substitute, Protect, and Toxic. Because that's all it really does. Stuffle is so pretty. I love Stuffle. Top of A tier. It's a very pretty Pokemon. Beware, though. Beware is a pretty big downgrade if we're going to be real here. It's a lizard, so it gets all those dragon moves. Heliolisk is a lizard. I don't see it getting Dragon Dance. I don't think Turtonator gets Dragon Dance, and that's our actual dragon type. Heatmore is a lizard, I think. Probably. It doesn't get dragon moves. Something being a lizard does not mean it gets dragon moves at all. Bounsweet is ugly. I don't like Bound Sweet at all. It's going right below Shiinotic. I prefer Shiinotic. Beware is on top. Beware is right here in C tier. It is towards the top, though. It's got that going for it. Steenie is probably... Ooh. I think Steenie is very ugly. I am not a fan of Steenie. Could be girls around. What did I say? I don't remember. Steenie is stupid. I don't like it. Serena, though? Goated. They fixed the design with Serena. Drop Kick is a cool signature move. Dazzling is a very fascinating... Oh, it's Queenly Majesty, but it's the same thing. It's a very cool design. I think it's a cool Pokemon. Big fan. Comfey is also dope. Probably a hot take to put it as high as I did. I think Comfey is a really cool Pokemon. Triage is a dope ability. Just priority on all healing moves is so insane. Serena has two different fans. Yeah, I'm of the normal kind. I don't want to do Joker with the Pokemon. That's weird. I burped. Anyway, we got Oranguru, which I think is just ugly. I don't really have anything to say about Oranguru. It's so sad because I don't think Endeavor exists in Gen 3, so no. Passimian's also just kind of lame, if we're being honest. I don't really like this duo of Pokemon. They're just so boring and they don't really do anything special. Like, why are they a duo? Just because they're monkeys? That's it. They have nothing else in common. Why does one destroy the other if they're supposed to be, like, equal or something stupid like that? Like, I mean, they're version exclusive, so you gotta, like, compare them, right? I don't know. I feel like this is some of the worst version exclusives in the series. C tier is kind of big. Wimpod is kind of whatever, if we're being honest. It's annoying to get access to because you miss it once. You kind of have to wait a few days. There's only 3 locations to hunt for it too, so it's like kind of lame. It's not the easiest to get. Serena's time will come. I'm cool with Serena getting a buff. I don't know why Maractus was more popular for the 34 seconds. Why did you fact check that information, Davi? Why would you fact check that? Golisopod is amazing, but it's also a bit overrated. I just wish it had a different ability. Like, I understand why it still has Wimp Out or whatever its new version is called, but the gimmick is over. Like, we get it. It's a cowardly Pokemon. It's been 2 generations already. Give them a real hidden ability. And while we're at it, do the same thing with Arcan and Archeops. Like, come on. This thing needs fixed. Sandygast, I'm gonna be real. I think Sandygast is ugly as well. It's actually going to go to the bottom of C tier. It's better than Shiinotic. It's a cool design. Especially the shiny is very pretty as well. I like the ability of a sandcastle. It's pretty nice. Give Golisopod Sheer Force? Actually, I don't even think that'd be that useful over Golisopod. Because, like, that'll help with liquidation, but that's about it. Wouldn't really do much else for it. Palisand is better. In fact, I'd say it's a whole tier better. But it's not clear in the funny Salamander person. And it's just slightly better than the bug that you could not really get very often if you're not paying attention. Pyukamuku's cute. It has the gimmick of not learning any offensive attacks. Why did we get 2 water bugs in this generation? That is a very interesting question. Gen 7 was great for bug type lovers, though. You gotta give him that. Type Null is so cool. I love Type Null so much. It is one of the best potentials of a Pokemon of all time. Ever since I saw this design, I was so hyped to see what would happen when this thing evolved. And then also its relationship with Gladiol's really cool too. It's just a cool design. Savali is the bottom of D tier though. If we still had that F tier, Savali would be there. I despise Savali purely because of how weak this thing is competitively. This is the worst legendary of all time. I don't care if there's technically a couple legendaries it's stronger than. This thing was literally designed to fight. It was made to fight Ultra Beasts. And it can't even do that because it's so pathetically weak. This thing cannot do its one job. It's modeled after Arceus, but it's just as close to the Arceus in stats as it is to Cast Form. That is a true fact. And I remember on the Hot Takes short, people were giving me crap for hating on Silvally, but this thing sucks. I remember one guy, hold on. One guy was, I think they were making fun of some other Pokemon to gas up Silvally. I think they were making fun of Genesect to gas up Silvally, which is like, huh? Genesect isn't, not only is Genesect insanely cool, it's also insanely powerful. Imagine comparing Genesect and Mewtwo to this thing. This thing, yeah. Someone on that short, it was on the first day of comments on that one short, but someone was gassing up Silvally by making Genesect look bad. And it's like, how do you do that? Genesect is 100 times better. Like, what? Imagine. Silvally sucks. Minior is cool. I'm not rating every individual Minior form. This Minior is just gonna represent all of them, and Minior is a high A. I want Minior to get some kind of buff. I don't know what that buff would be, but it needs one. I think it just needs a little more stats. Honestly, Eviolite Minior would go hard. I would love to see that. Minior. Maybe it could become like a fire type as like a crashed meteor. That could be interesting. I would like the idea. Or an Evo. I feel like an evolution is the most realistic, but I don't really know what they could do with it, to be honest. Komala is one of the most disappointing Pokemon of all time because look at this thing. It looks like it should evolve. It looks like it's a baby Pokemon. Why does it not evolve? That was one of the biggest disappointments for me in Gen 7. I had one on my team, but it was just so weak that it wasn't even usable. Also, why did Game Freak nerf this Pokemon so hard in Gen 9? Like, it lost Rapid Spin. That was, like, one of the main things it had going for it. I know it lost some other useful moves, too, but it's like, what did Komala do that Game Freak decided that it needed nerf? And it's mid. Yeah, it's so bad. I don't like it. Turtonator is ugly. I'm gonna be real. It's slightly better than Komala. It's just a stupid design. It's another one of those version exclusives, but the two Pokemon have literally nothing going with each other. The other one's Drampa. Like, why are these two version exclusives? What is the purpose of this? They have no connections. There's nothing going for them. It's so stupid. That's something that later gens just, like, kind of do. Like, why? Why are they weird with their version exclusives in later gens? Togedemaru? Or Togedemaru, as some people would pronounce it? It's whatever. I'm not putting it over the funny sound. Actually, no, it's going below the sandcastle. It's better than a Wimpod, though. Togedemaru. It's one of the better Pikachu clones competitively, which is pretty nice. It does like the same thing every game. It just spiky shield with the iron barbs, and you just try to be annoying with stuff like Nuzzle, Zigzap, and go for Paraflinches. But it's a fascinating Pokemon. I like it. It's a cool design. That's about all I have to say. Mimikyu, or Alolan Pikachu as some like to call it. Very cool Pokemon. I don't know why they nerfed its ability. I mean, I guess with Disguise plus Focus Sash, it was really annoying. Shouldn't count as a Mimikyu clone. It's not. It's not a Pikachu clone. It's just a Alolan Pikachu. I don't know how to evolve a Alolan Pikachu into a Alolan Raichu, though. It's kind of weird. I love Mimikyu, though. It's so cool that it got an exclusive Z move, too, in Usum. Usum really is, like, one of the best Pokemon games. It's just a shame that Sun and Moon released first, so that's what I played first. Therefore, that's my opinion of Gen 7. I've literally never gotten past the first island in Gen 7, I don't think. Just purely because it was so boring. Like, it's the same game, but better. But I've already played it, and I didn't even care for it that much. Well, sorry. I don't like Gen 7 because there's so much story. Like, most of the criticism that people pass on to Gen 8 about, oh, you take 10 steps and then you're stopped for story, that happens in Gen 7. Like, quite literally. Especially on the second island. It's so dumb. I don't know. Some people are just too critical about it. Plus, like, oh, people like to gas up Pokemon stories as if the best Pokemon story isn't like a 5 out of 10. Just throwing that out there. When you compare it to other JRPGs. Bruxish sucks. It's ugly. I'll put it above Beware. Near the top of C tier for a Pokemon I think sucks. Gen 7 is like some of the best and worst Pokemon of all time. A Pokemon having too high stakes. I don't really... I'm gonna be real, I've never heard that complaint. My point is just that Pokemon doesn't have good writing. It's a children... Like, actually, no. It being a children's game is not an excuse to have for it to have bad writing. Because other children's games are good at writing. It's serviceable. At least, but like really, like compared to almost any other JRPG, the best Pokemon game is like they're mids. Like peak Pokemon writing is like mid every other series. Let's be real with ourselves here. Like Pokemon fans like praise very basic character development, which is like such a low bar. Drampa is like It's a funny grandpa Pokemon, but I'm gonna be real, that's all it has going for it. Normal Dragon's a cool type combination though, so I like that. Delmise is such a sick Pokemon that has no reason to exist. Why does it have a 1% encounter rate on the final island on one specific fishing spot? Why did they choose to make this thing so rare? So many people didn't know this mon existed when they played through Gen 7. Because I don't even think any notable trainers have it, right? Also, why does it have a signature ability? Steelworker is so random. Jangmo-O? It's alright. Jangmo-O is fine. I'm gonna put it above Lycanroc. I think it's only Mono Dragon in this form. It gets to the fighting type when it becomes Hakama-O, and I think Hakama-O is just ugly. I don't like Hakama-O. It's just kind of cringe in it, bruv. Don't you think? Como-O is good, but it's not higher than B tier, for being honest. People trying to justify new gens being bad, saying Pokemon shouldn't have high stakes and push them being a champion like Gens 1 through 3 did. Gen 3 had an apocalyptic event, and so did Gen 4. Like a world, both of those were world-ending events. Gen 9 was just some random past or future Pokemon coming out of Area Zero. Like at worst, Paldea is destroyed. Everywhere else is gonna be fine. Like that's such a weird criticism. Gen 8, yeah, Gen 8 had high stakes. I'll give them that. But it's like, who cares if the stakes are high? Now, to be fair, Gen 8 didn't exactly have great writing. Like, Rose is literally the dumbest villain of all time. Let's be real here. Rose is the equivalent of the child that when he heard that the sun is gonna die in a million years, he had a massive panic attack and dedicated his life to stopping it. Like, bro, we can't stop that. Like, he's dead. And then he was upset that people weren't taking it seriously, so he sped run making the process happen so we could all work together to stop it. And it's like, bro, really? He just wants to get the problem out of the way. Which is like, stupid tech billionaires. That's what Rose is. Funnily enough. He's a tech billionaire combined with a 5-year-old. Coco is goated. Tapu Koko is insanely cool. I love it. Cool design. It's the Tapu you interact with in the most in the story. It's really cool. Champion fight is the equivalent of Jeff Bezos. Yes. True. From Mental Spectacle, there's actually nothing happening in the story. Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's no actual consequences if you decide to just go AFK for 500 hours. There's no punishment. Like, Coco's just cool. Lele is not, I think Coco's the best Tapu, in my opinion. Like, not necessarily competitively, but from a design standpoint, I love it so much. And I like that it's the one you see the most in the story. You know, it's just a bit of bias because you start in the first island and all that cool stuff. Lele is cool. I love Lele. Lele is probably the best competitively, at least in singles, because it just hits so damn hard. Bulu? So many people did not understand that the best legendary group short was me making fun of Tapu Bulu. Like, I don't particularly care about the Tapus overall. I mean, they are one of the better legendary groups in my opinion. But the amount of people who did not understand that that short was literally made to make fun of Tapu Bulu is a little astounding to me. That was literally the only thing about it. Yeah, Rillaboom's the real fourth Tapu. A lot of people don't know this, but Tapu Bulu destroyed that town on the third island, right? The other Tapus went to go have an intervention, the Tapu Bulu, because he's not defending the people or the region. He's just got out of control, and they need to calm him down. But when they arrived, ready for the fight, they felt a sudden surge of grass appear, and confusion spread, because Bulu's terrain was already set. And then the hero, Rillaboom, appeared, and proceeded to dominate Tapu Bulu in a fight. The other three Tapus saw Rillaboom fight Tapu Bulu, and they hired him on the spot to replace the fraud. And then Fraudlu, no longer a Tapu, was banished to the desert. That's the lore. There's some lore. I wanted to include that lore in the future short for Rillaboom versus Tapu Bulu, but I didn't have time to explain it there. Anyway, Tapu Fraudlu's lame. I don't have any explanation for it. Finny's also kind of boring, to be honest. I really like this sprite, though. The 2D sprite's pretty cool. Happy World lore. Yeah. A lot of people think that Rillaboom can't be a Tapu just because he was introduced in Gen 8, but like, bro, he was so good. They had to let him cook for 3 more years. See, this is why Game Freak needs to delay their game so they can cook for a few more years. Rillaboom is the best example of that. Cosmog, I love Cosmog. It's so pretty. Cosmog's going to go above Coco, but not above Rockruff. It's such a pretty Pokemon. I wanted to use this on my team so much, but then unfortunately I realized it was Lily's Pokemon, and then I realized I'm not going to be able to get this until endgame, and that made me depressed. Cosmoem exists. I think Cosmoem kind of sucks, to be honest. Bottom of C tier. It's not bad enough to be in D tier, but I don't have an opinion on that guy. Solgaleo has a sick design, but it's also one of the weakest Ubers. One of the weakest box art legendaries ever, which I'm gonna be real. I only learned recently that this thing's extremely weak. Like a month or two ago is when I found out. I didn't know it was that bad. Like, I knew it was completely outshone by Necrozma Duskmane, but I didn't know it was like as bad as it is. It's being a few months ago, Finchnator and the rest of the OU Council announced that it was actually being considered to be dropped down into the OU tier. And I sat down and thought about it for a while, and like I got to thinking that honestly, I don't think it's gonna be broken. Go back to ranking. I am ranking. I've been ranking Pokemon for like 40 hours. By 40 hours, I mean 1 hour and 15 minutes. I hope it is. I kind of hope it does drop. I think it'd be cool. Lunala, I think, is overrated. It's an overrated Pokemon. It's still A tier, but I think it's just funny Dark Moonbat. I think Solgaleo's design is so much cooler. One of the only box art legendaries to be weak to its counterpart. Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird. I mean, to be fair, it does. Actually, no, it doesn't learn knockoff. I know Duskmane gets knockoff, but does regular Solgaleo get knockoff? I'm not sure. It probably gets crunch, right? Because it likes to bite. I actually have no idea. I mean, Solgaleo sucks. Lunala is not that much better. Actually, no, it is better. I can't say that. It's just flat out better. It's not that insane, though. Nihilego is very pretty. I like Nihilego. It's at the bottom of S tier for me. She'll look at the sun Pokemon being weak to fire. True. You know, Solgaleo is kind of a fraud. Buzzwole is that guy. I love Buzzwole. Buzz. He flexes all the time. I wish this thing was strong, but it's so weak. It's so bad competitively. It's OU because it's too strong for UU, not because on its own merit. It sucks. It was actually kind of decent in Gen 6 though, because Max Airstream and Dual Wing Beat. Pheromosa is such a pretty design. They killed it with the Ultra Beasts. And if we ever get like a Gen 7 remake or Legend Zaza type of deal for Gen 7, we really... The one Pokemon show where first thing Buzzwole does is flex. Yes. Also, oh, that reminds me. Remember those special trailers they showed off for the Ultra Beast? Like the IRL trailers with real life actors, and they had like those all the Ultra Beasts in them, and they were attacking the real world. Those were so cool. And I'm so sad those never came back. Those were some of the coolest things Pokemon Company has ever produced. Dips into analog horror. Pokemon has a lot of, like, if they wanted to make horror Pokemon films, which if they did, it'd have to be PG. There's no way Pokemon would make an actual, like, rated R and go hard into the horror. But Pokemon as an IP has a lot of cool things you could do. But unfortunately, I feel like a Pokemon horror film will just battle down to battling the evil Pokemon, which would be kind of lame if we're being real here. It would be very interesting. Yeah, they were analog horror. They were so cool. Except Buzzwole. I think Buzzwole's just funny. Imagine you're being approached by a flexing mosquito. Like, I remember Nihilego was so mysterious. Xurkatree's was insane. I loved Xurkatree's trailer. In fact, Xurkatree's probably my favorite Ultra Beast. It's so cool. Those were just so Solgaleo's normal cat behavior. True. I'm trying to remember. Kartana. Yeah, because I remember Kartana's, because like you were watching like this footage, right? It was a replay of like some footage that a camera caught. And they had to like slow down the footage and freeze frame just so they could see Kartana, because it's so fast and they cut something down. It's so cool. Also, Kartana has this really cool niche in the anime where it actually speaks in Japanese, but it's played in reverse. Fun fact. It's one of the few Pokemon that actually speak a human language. It's just backwards. Yeah, it's backwards. Oh, it's backwards English? Is that in the English dub? Because I know it's Japanese somewhere. Kartana is so cool. The Gen 7 anime got way too much hate. All because of the art style change. Well, let's be real here. It was pretty good. Like, it's overhated. Absolutely. Kartana is sick. Also, this thing was a literal demon in competitive as well. Like, such high attack. It's like base 181 attack. Like, it's not real. I remember looking at, like, some of the Ultra Beast stat lines and then some Mega Pokemon stat lines, and the fact that these are coming back is scary to me. Called everything it cut worthless. True. Buzzwell screaming. Buzz, 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 buzz. Amaburia Celesteela is very bad for me, though. Because back in Gen 7, I was not a good battler, and I did not know how to beat Celesteela. So I just suffered the entire time. I was a bad battler. I hated it so much. Same thing with Hoopa, even though like they're both kind of... Well, Celesteela is difficult to deal with, in my opinion. Buzzwell Scream is so... Why does it sound like that? If you know what Buzzwell Screaming sounds like, it's like... You would never think it sounds like that. Guzzlord's kind of going down. Also, do you guys remember the theory about the Ultra Beasts being based on specific humans? And they were like... It was kind of like a Skinwalker theory, to where like Lucamine is secretly an Ultra Beast, and then Lily was secretly an Ultra Beast because they kind of look similar. It was like people were speculating that Xurkitree was Xurkitree? No, Guzma was Xurkitree. Lucamine was Pheromosa. Lily was Nihilego. That theory, I actually was a fan of it. Like, it was obviously not true, but it was funny to speculate about. See, I was the person who claimed that the player's mom was Guzzlord. Obese brother, true. It truly is. I thought the player's mom being Guzzlord was the funniest bit of humor of all time. It is kind of wild, though, how many Pokemon... I mean, obviously, Lucamine styled herself after Pheromosa, and then styled Lily after Nihilego, so that's why they look similar. And Lucamine probably liked Guzma because he looked similar to Xurkitree, which is why those three actually look like Ultra Beasts, probably, from, like, the lore story perspective. It's pretty cool. I like it. The FEMA Crusher rolled with it. True. Necrozma, I'm a big fan of Necrozma. Gen 7 got its legendaries. I'm counting Ultra Beasts as legendaries for the sake of this conversation. They got its legendaries so right. It's such a cool Pokemon. Arguably, Necrozma is the strongest Pokemon lore-wise. You could argue that it's over Arceus, and I would support it. I don't know if I'd agree with it, but it's a valid argument. Because we know for a fact that Necrozma has at least one universe under its belt. And since Pokemon's a multiverse, each universe has one Arceus. Which would imply, if it took down one universe, it took down that universe's Arceus. So you could argue that it's above Arceus. You could. Actually, we don't even know if each universe has an Arceus, because, like, who knows if the Ultra Beast worlds have it. So, you know what? So I can maybe retract that statement. But Necrozma's cool. You could argue it's one of the strongest Pokemon of all time. You could, from a lore perspective. Because what other Pokemon has that level of a feat? Like, nothing does. Like, besides Arceus. It's literally the only two Pokemon up there. And if anyone says Ditto, no, stop. Duskmane, can it beat Goku? No, of course not. Cannot beat Goku, of course not. Duskmane is so sick. I'm a big fan of Duskmane as well. Duskmane's gonna go low. Yo, I'm a big fan of Duskmane, but I can't believe I'm putting it this low. One of the strongest Pokemon we ever got competitively, at least from the singles perspective. I don't know how good it is in VGC, to be frank. But this thing is the second best Pokemon ever. It was the second best Mon in Gen 7, because nothing's beating Promogroudon. In Gen 8 is either second or third. Calyrex Shadow, actually no, Yveltal is probably number one. Top 3 for Gen 8 is kind of debatable because, I mean, Calyrex Shadow is so insanely meta impactful, but Yveltal is the perfect counter to it. Literally, Calyrex, Duskmane, and Calyrex Shadow have over 80% usage rate. I'm pretty sure all 3 of them do, and then the next Pokemon before that is like 30%. Like, literally every single good team in Gen 8 has all 3 of those Pokemon. At least 2. And because, anyway, I don't know. Back to the subject at hand. Necrozma Duskmane is insane, and if this thing had Terrasillization... Actually, it does have Terra. I take it back. No, it's one of the best Pokemon in Gen 9 again. It's so good. Shadow Shield is cool. I don't like Dawn Wings as much as I like Lunala, but I'm going to put them side by side. Actually, I prefer Guzzlord. I don't know what it is. It's just the armor doesn't look as good on Lunala as it does on Solgaleo. I love Necrozma, though. It's like the body snatcher Pokemon. It's so cool. Shout out to Eternatus. I hope if we get more Gen 7 games, we get new, I want new forms for Necrozma. I want to see it body snatch more Pokemon. I think that would be cool. He's also used a lot. Yeah, Eternatus is very bulky. I love Eternatus. It's so cool. If we had Eternamax Eternatus in Gen 8, that thing would have been insane. Probably ban-worthy, assuming it had the same stats. But actually, it's not probably. It definitely is. Yeah, why does it turn blue? It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, Duskmane kind of gets more yellow, but the sun's yellow, right? The moon's not really blue. I don't know blue moons are a thing, but it's like, eh. I just think OG Necrozma looks better than Dawn Wings. I think it's a downgrade. Ultra Necrozma, I think, is actually a kind of overrated. It's still S tier. I'm gonna be real, though. I'm gonna put it right below Solgaleo. I think it's an overrated design, but it's also really cool. Why is Eternal Flower banned on show? Is that... You're talking about Floette, right? Eternal Flower Floette. It's banned because it was never released. And since it never released, it's officially, like, not a real Pokemon in the eyes of the Pokemon community, basically. Well, in the eyes of Game Freak, at least. It's also not allowed in VGC for the express purpose of it was never actually released. It's not really that complex. It has stats, it has a whole signature move and everything. It's just, since it never released, we can't use it. It's the same deal with, like, Petrarunt, for example. Like, we already knew what Petrarunt's stats was, like, a month before it released, but since it never released, it wasn't allowed to be used. Also because Game Freak was, like, taking down YouTube videos and such. Oh, no, it's not that ridiculous. I need to look at its stats, admittedly, but no, it would not be banned from Ubers. Magearna is a cool design, too. Pokeball Magearna's not here, but it would be in the exact same spot. It's also another ridiculously powerful Pokemon. I thought it was Gen 7 and... Sorry, I thought it was UU in Gen 7 for some reason. Absolutely not. This thing is a demon. It could be a physical attacker or a special attacker, or it could even be a wall. It's insane. 7B... I actually have no idea what its stats are off the top of my head. But it better be in Zaza. Also, wait, was that a Gen 6 mod? Yeah, it was technically a Gen 6 mod, but I don't know. I mentioned it when I was doing the Gen 7 stuff. Magearna and Dancer are part of a duo. I can kind of understand why. I keep thinking that Magearna was a Gen 6 Pokemon, because I swear we saw it in Gen 6 somewhere. Like, I thought it was, Diancie, Magearna, and Volcanion. I, for my mind, completely forgot about Hoopa. I could have sworn those three were revealed together. Notice how Dragon, what he did in Magearna, he died to Magearna. That's what happened. I think Magearna's a bit overrated. Marshadow is goated, though. Marshadow, remember when I had the top 3 thing? Marshadow is the third Pokemon in the top 3. I love... Yeah, it's a Mandela effect, except I don't think it's really a group of people. I think it's kind of just me. I don't know why. I keep thinking that Magearna's Gen 6 for some reason. It just never released. Maybe that's why, because the Volcanion movie, it tripped me up. Either way, Marshallow's my third favorite Pokemon of all time. It has such a cool, cute design. It's cool and cute, right? I love the Shadow Boxer idea that can blend in with shadows. It's so cool. It's also one of the most... I don't want to say annoying, but funniest gimmick Pokemon of all time in Ubers, because its signature move steals stat changes and then it attacks. So it with a Choice Scarf can counter so many funny steps. Memory of the nearly dead community I'm still in. No, be careful, Marshtomp, don't die. Marshadow is so pretty. I just wish it had a much better shiny. Could you imagine this thing with like a white body and blue flames for eyes? I think that would be so cool. I'm going to say something. I don't care about Poipole. I don't like... I mean, Ultra Beast being able to evolve makes sense, because they're just alternate world Pokemon. That's all they are. They're not particularly special in that world. But it still kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it when legendaries evolve. Like, I've gotten more used to it now, but I hated that on the release of Gen 7. Was the other form of Marshadow? Porygon? No. I'm not rating them separately. It's the same Pokemon. Let's be real here. Yeah, technically it does have multiple forms. It has this as its default form, and then when it has its hood on, it's technically a new form, but it's not really a new form. It's just kind of dumb, you know? Naganadal is overrated, to be honest. It's cool, But I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna put it like just below Serena. I don't really have deep opinions on Naganadel. I'm pretty sure you get it early in Ultra Sun and Moon. I wouldn't know because I never finished them because I did not like Gen 7. I say that as I put like half the decks in S tier. But we need more Wasp Pokemon. I love how it's not a bug type. I'm so happy that it's actually a dragon type. It's so much more unique this way. Stack Attack is a very funny Pokemon. This one was a demon in Gen 8 RU. I remember that. But I'm going to be real. I don't care for Stack Attacka. It didn't do anything wrong. It's just that it's kind of lame. I don't really have anything to say about it. Steel Rock is historically a really bad defensive typing. This thing with Terra would actually go hard. 2 of your top 3 are from Gen 7. Yeah, it is. It's weird. I don't like Gen 7 as games, but I love its decks. I love everything about it except the story pausing you every 2 steps. That's why I hate Gen 7. If Pokemon introduced a skip button like Fire Emblem has, or pretty much any game nowadays, let's be real, it would be the best generation to play. Undisputed, in my opinion. Because Gen 7 has so many, Gen 7, I feel, is the first game to have a really wide Pokedex available for you from the start. Like, there's like 20-ish Pokemon that you can get on like the first few routes. And that's insane for team building. And it even includes like so many types. I really want to like Gen 7 because it's good it's really good. Like, it is. But the story pausing you every 2 seconds is so annoying. Yo, Blacephalon is one of the GOATs. Blacephalon is insane. I love its design so much. I love my Pennywise Pokemon. You're going above Lycanroc, above Pheromosa, above... You're not above Coco. This is where Blaze is gonna go. All the Fire Ghost types are shiced competitively. I love them so much. They're all frail and they all hit really hard. That's all they do. The random Pokemon in the wild. Yeah, that was just a dumb gimmick. Yeah, not really useful at all. Finish Ruby or else it resets, not the restart. Oh no. It's just... Blacephalon's so cool. It hits hard. I love it so much. Zeraora is like the most forgettable mythic of all time, to be honest. I never remember this thing exists. I'm only putting it in D tier because of how forgettable it is, and it's not even like particularly strong. Its signature move is effectively useless in singles because it turns all normal type moves into electric moves for the rest of the turn. But it's like, oh yeah, wow, normal moves. That's what you're super concerned about. Where's my music? I want it back. It's so weird, you know? A lot of people say Zarude is the most forgettable mythic, but I'm a real. I remember Zarude a lot more because it's actually really good in RU. Actually, it got banned. Oh yeah, you even commented Zarude is right there. Zarude is forgettable. I'm not gonna pretend like it's not, but I'm gonna be real. Zeraora did nothing for me. In fact, I don't even... If Zeraora has a movie, I genuinely don't remember it existing. At least I know Zarude had a stupid movie with a child and a monkey in data form, which is also like the most stupid form of all time. Meltan is cool. I like Meltan. Very funny Pokemon. No, it's not 8. It's actually A tier. Bottom of A tier. It's a cute Pokemon. Has the worst evolution method of all time because I'm not going to play Pokemon Go no matter how many times the Pokemon Company tries to get me to. It's OP in Unite. I have not played Unite yet. I do want to do a Unite stream though. One day, I definitely want to do Unite. Maybe soonish, because I'm kind of getting tired of Rogue. I don't know. I do want to play Unite, though. It sounds fun. Melmetal. Okay, one of Blunder's favorite Pokemon. I love Melmetal. It's cool. It's going to go at the very bottom. Actually, it's going to go to the top of A tier. I just wish it was a lot more accessible, because I don't want to play Pokemon Go. It's it. I underestimated how powerful this thing would be competitively because I saw it was slow and its signature move paralyzed, but it's like, hey, if you paralyze a foe and you click double Iron Bash, Blunder mentioned. Mr. Thunder Blunder. Agency, yes. One day, I'll sack the feature mod just as good as the GOAT. Also, Blunder's biggest choke. Melmetal's Gigantamax form. I don't like the Gigantamax form. I'm gonna be real. It's another one of those weird cases of, like, why does it get love after the generation's done? Like, they did it with Zygarde for 6 to 7. They did it with Melmetal from 7 to 8. Did they do that from 8 to 9 with any Pokemon in particular? I can't think of one. Unless you want to say giving Zamazenta Body Press counts as love, which, I mean, I guess so, because it made it, like, the best restricted mod in Worlds, or Indianapolis, specifically. I don't think Indianapolis was Worlds. Anyway, this is the end of the Gen 7 tier list, because we already rated all these Pokemon in the previous part. Terra Steel to KO's Pex? What? Oh my lord! Yo! This thing would be Uber. This thing would be Ubers. If it was in Gen 9, it'd be Ubers. Absolutely. Melmetal with Terra? That would be insane. Trick Room, or even just like spreading paralysis support with like Dragapult, or even like Grimmsnarl. Dear lord. Anyway, that is the Gen 7 tier list.